go on the Boer War adventure. I'll just reset my clock so we know how far we travelled today. Okay, so before I tell you where we're going, and we have to acknowledge the YouTube channel Victoria History Adventures, because they alerted me to the fact that there was a forgotten Boer War avenue in a place called Havelock, which is where we're heading today. But first we've got to go to Harcourt to pick up a front lamp kit for my car. My front headlamp took a catastrophic hit on Saturday night. I was coming back from Malmesbury, going slow as I do at night. It was dusk, it was about 5 p.m. and I had dodged a couple of kangaroos, but this kangaroo came from just over there, my blind spot. It was dusk, hard to see, and he bounced diagonally in front of me. He bounced off and he got up and he hopped off. He seemed okay, because as I said, I was going pretty slow, but he did crack and break my front headlamp. So we're going to Harcourt to pick up a replacement from the Harcourt Motor Wreckers. Brian's organised that because he's gone off in his caravan a couple of days ago. He's off to South Australia. He's going to get us some more war monuments in South Australia. But go and pick up the headlamp from Harcourt, and then we'll head over to Havelock, which is an old abandoned gold mining town which had a Boer War Avenue of Honour, and they've actually put up a billboard or a sign to remember the event. As I said, if you want to see perhaps another more extensive investigation than I can give you today, they're called Victorian History Adventures. Alright, so I'll concentrate on the road so I don't hit any more kangaroos, and I'll talk to you soon. Oh, one other thing. So I've had a few comments about my audio not being that terrific at times when I'm talking to you. So I went to JB Hi-Fi and I got some external mics for the Osmo, and now I've got to get an adapter. So I'll be trying that in the near future. Alright, bye. So this is what I got, because yeah, the kangaroo cracked all that front plastic, but in particular he pushed it in that so I was just telling you. So this was $110, and Brian will fit that for me when he gets back next week. He sent me a photo of the Mafeking Memorial in South Australia. He went to look for it the other time he was over there for me, but he couldn't find it. But it's a monument in a place called Murray Bridge, remembering the relief of Mafeking, and it mentions Baden Powell. So that's fortuitous, because where we're going today is a forgotten avenue which was named after Baden Powell. So we've got to go to a little place called Havelock. Nothing there of any significance left nowadays, but in its day it was a thriving gold mine, or a gold town, I should say. I'm just outside Castlemaine. This is the car wreckers. They used to have a sign here saying something about stop here for strippers, which would catch your eye, and then it would be referring to stripping cars. Of course, quite humorous. So from here it's about 40 minutes to Harcourt, to Havelock. This is Harcourt. So 40 minutes to Havelock, and we'll see if we can find this avenue of honour. So I'm in Havelock, looking for this sign to tell me where the forgotten avenue is. It's also a day of extreme wind. On the weather warning last night they said avoid places with trees. Well, this is a heavily wooded area, although this is farmland along here. It seems that going from the, as I said, that other video from the Victorian history hunters, that the avenue was designed to come from the train station, the state school, so the kids could walk along it on the way home from school. So I've just crossed the train line, and I'm going to continue looking for the signpost. Stay tuned. So I've driven up and down Havelock, and very hard to find the sign telling me where the avenue is. This kind of looks like an avenue with trees on either side of me. As I said, they told us on the weather last night to stay away from trees because strong winds. But surely, well, fingers crossed, it looks a new sign. Of course, there's no remains of the old school or the railway station. There is still a train line which works, but there is no shop or anything in Havelock. Please God, let this sign be significant. Yes, we found it. Oh wow. So I'm parked up there. I'm parked over there. And this is the avenue. It says this is the oldest of the 6 known Boer War avenues of honour. This makes Havelock the first avenue of honour planted in Australia. Mr. Allison, the head teacher at Havelock, came up with the idea of a memorial avenue of trees from the state school to the railway station. The Tullaroop Shire and locals got behind the project. Stakes were cut for the tree guards and holes dug for 42 sugar gums. Now that state nursery, I noticed just up there was a road which was a track which was called Nursery Dam. That's where they grew the trees. 21st of June 1900, and the rows of trees named after Baden. You got Baden Powell, Tom Price, he was the Australian, the Victorian. Major Eddie, we know him. Captain Robert Salmon, we know him from Talbot. The 27 of the original 42 trees survive. So, yeah, I think that's more like an avenue. So these are 124 years old, these trees. You can sort of see how it might work. This tree here, we don't know what its name is. This could be Colonel Tom Price. This could be Major Eddie's tree. Wow. You know, he'd gone looking for it one other time and didn't find it. He got it today, so isn't it coincidental that I find the Baden Powell Avenue? And yeah, the relief of Mafeking, you know, it really gets to me. Remember we went to Denali. Denali's not far from here. We managed to get into the old town hall, and there was a photo there of the residents of Denali and the local government celebrating the relief of Mafeking. Excuse me. It was such a big deal. And they've gone and renamed it Mahakeng, but to me it'll always be Mafeking. These fence posts, they look original. Yeah, it was the most famous place on earth for a time, Mafeking. And when I got to see it and go there, it was definitely one of my bucket list places on earth. Here's another big old sugar gum. Wow, this could be. I reckon they'd plant Victoria to start with and work their way down to. Yeah, this could be the Robert Salmon tree. We went to Captain Salmon's burial place in South Africa. We've been to Captain Salmon's Talbot. He's another one of my favourites. Captain Salmon and Major Eddie are my favourite characters we researched when I was over there. Just had word from Colin, the historian, today that the Australian War Graves Commission has said that Major Eddie isn't buried at Colesberg. We went to Colesberg Cemetery, where those clowns had put down Major Eddie as belonging to the South Australian Mounted Infantry. I raised a ruckus, a furore, but so yeah, we don't know where he is, but I might go and meet Colin later on in the month. Oops. And he can show us a few places in Beaufort where Major Eddie taught school, where he lived. Here's another sugar gum that would have been part of the avenue. So they really don't make it visible at all, unless you knew and did what I did, which was drive around backwards and forwards. So I ended up on this forest track. Oh man, look at this. It's the remains of a big roo. Look at that, guys. God, that's a big boy. He's bigger than the one that bumped into me. Yeah, the stench now is getting to me, so I think I'll remove myself. Stench. Yeah, I don't know what I was saying. Something about maybe going and meeting Colin. This looks like it might have been another tree of the avenue. There's one down here. Once again, referring back to that video that alerted me to this, they said that they stopped using this turn off because it was too dangerous. So they created this. This is the Bendigo Road, I think. They created another turn off. Oh, I'm getting the stench of that kangaroo now. So I don't know how those two would have found out about this. Incredible. Lost history, you know. They came to my town too. They did a episode on the bridge. Hard to know how many of these are the original sugar gums. Some of them look a bit flimsier, but this one is definitely an original. I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5. Anyway, I get some photos of this sign. Gee, I'm glad I found this. Really glad. I had unknowingly driven along that avenue where the old state school had been without realising that the trees on either side of the road were significant. But someone else has done the research for me, and they actually are able to name the trees, or those that still exist. A lot of them have been lost. So I'll show you what they've got on their website. Lord Roberts, the Lion of Kandahar, brought in when they thought Buller was too old and too slow. He captured the Boer capitals of Bloemfontein and Pretoria and became the first Earl of Pretoria, sailed home for England when he considered the war was won. Lord Kitchener, the hero of Khartoum, he came in to clean up after Roberts, imposed a scorched earth policy, the concentration camps much hated in South Africa. Sir George White, the hero of Ladysmith, he held out when he was surrounded by the Boers. and held on for 6 months till the relief came from Buller. Sir Robert Baden Powell, the hero of Mafeking, he founded the scouting movement, and he held out when all the world watched the eyes of far-flung Mafeking. General Hector MacDonald, the Scotsman, or Fighting Mac as they called him, much-loved general, took his own life when questions on his sexuality were aired in the press. Sir General Ian Hamilton, he fought 10 battles between Bloemfontein and Pretoria, was at Gallipoli. Colonel Tom Price, much loved by the Victorians and preferred after the disaster of Wilmansrust, they demanded Colonel Tom Price. Major Eddie, we went and found his memorial plaque at Beaufort. We also visited the Battle of Pink Hills in the Northern Cape, where it was described that he fought like a lion and he died like a soldier. We love our Major Eddie. He's a Beaufort boy. Death of Captain Hubei near Ottershoop on the 12th of September 1900. Quote, he didn't care a fig for those bullets, but he got one all the same. Trooper Robert Hayward of the 3rd South African Bushman gives us a more intimate perspective of Huber's death. Quote, grim war has again played its part, for on Wednesday, September the 12th, 1900, we went forth to battle with a light heart, led by our brave old skipper, Captain Huber, who said when leaving camp, I hope we will have a good cut-in today, boys. All the lads said, I hope we will too. And everyone had their wish fulfilled, for we had more than enough. We fought a good fight with the enemy, who was strongly entrenched on the surrounding koppies. We fought for several hours, and then we got the order to charge, and charge we did with mad fury. And although the bullets fell in our midst, quick as lightning and thick as hail, we most successfully took the position without any loss of life. Only had 2 men wounded, 1 horse killed and several wounded. After taking the position, we got the order to retire and had to move out again under a terrible heavy fire. We carried out the order without losing any men, but after the fighting was over for the day and we were just about to retire, our brave old skipper fell a victim to a deadly Mauser bullet. We were just moving off when he explained, I got it. He fell from his horse with a heavy thud, tried to rise, staggered, and fell again. In a few minutes he was dead. 2 horses fell in the retreat and badly hurt the riders, and one of the retreaters looking back saw that one of the fallen men was trying to rise into a sitting position. He galloped back under heavy fire, dismounted, and gave the wounded comrade his horse. When the captain saw the movement, he galloped back and picked up the man who had given away his horse to a fallen comrade. So the last deed the captain did upon earth was a heroic one. We buried him the next day in the Malmani cemetery. Ritquill, on the 28th of September 1900. I think I'm beat. Trooper Abilene. The New South Wales Imperial Bushman lost 9 men at Ritquill. Quote, since I wrote, we've had plenty of lash. In fact, every time on the march around Oliphant's Neck, which took us 8 weeks, we had a go of some kind. The Boers only made 2 real stands of it, and when they used their artillery on us the first time, they shelled us. They only killed 1 man and some mules. On the second occasion, they killed 3, wounded 11, killed 5 horses, and wounded and killed mules also. There is only 1 squadron in this area of Methuen column. We are his escort, and there are about 100 of us altogether. When the Boers start firing, the general always sends us ahead to draw the fire from the guns, and I tell you, we generally do succeed in drawing it, and very strongly too. They are always on a ridge of some sort, where they can easily retire, and they never get on the koppies where they can't ride, unless they get into trenches. We only got them in trenches when they used guns. They are roaming about here in mobs of 300 and 400. It's marvellous how they get on for food, as we always capture their wagons. It's wonderful that they don't get many of us with their Mauser rifles, but the horses get hit, and mostly in the places where the bullets do not hurt them. Of course, some are shot dead and others have to be shot when badly wounded. My mare has been hit in 2 places, the first time in the ear and a fortnight ago in the shoulder. I'm still riding her. I suppose you read about Abilene from Hay being killed and 2 others with him. I was away to the right of them fighting, and when we arrived the enemy had fled, leaving 8 of our fellows wounded and 2 they'd taken prisoners. 16 of our men were together against 150 Boers and went to within 20 yards of them. It's horrible to see Fay, one of the wounded men, roaring with pain, and he and McClellan had their clothes taken off. But Abilene and the other 5 seemed well enough. Poor Abilene said to me, "I think I'm beat," but walked to the ambulance wagon team on another's shoulders. But when the doctor examined him, he was found to have been shot by an explosive bullet in the kidneys. We had to leave 5 of them in the Boer hospital in charge of our doctor as they were too sick to move. And now we hear from the general that Abilene, Fay and McCullough have since died, but the other 2 are still alive.
What were the Boers like as fighters?
Oh, good hit and run. They'd be on a copy and in good positions when we come along. That's how they copped us the first time. They gave us a bit of pepper and then cleared out.